we were planning to connect on for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to discuss today.
By the way, I would admit that this problem was inspired by your video where you had written that code about products table. आपने एक छोटा सा table लिया था और उसके बाद
हाँ,
फिर then you did a self join.
हम्म,
That's actually I felt that that is like the crux of the
हम्म,
and for any SQL person, this is the most important thing to crack.
right, right. Self join is always tricky, and if you visualize it, it is difficult, So you have to put two tables
Hmm.
together, I mean, in Excel or maybe run same table twice in SQL.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then you see, imagine those are two different tables, right?
Hmm.
Then you can imagine.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it becomes difficult. What I'm joining with what and which column I need to take, it becomes difficult.
Exactly, exactly. And I think that is where my first encounter of self-join was when I had to create an employee hierarchy of
Ah,
one of my
hmm,
customers. So they
hmm,
they had they were an agri company which had this hierarchy of supervisor, then you have on-field executive, and then above that there is a manager, regional manager kind of hierarchy was there. So isme you are forced to think about ki, where else should I join? I have to connect back.
right,
Right.
right, right,
So here I have my ID and here's my manager ID. That manager will have his own manager, will run up to
right,
the top post who doesn't have a manager.
right.
Right. So and recursive is I find it tough. मुझे मतलब कई बार कंफ्यूजिंग होता है रिकर्सिव में स्पेशली ट्राई करने में आई एम ट्राइंग फ्यू थिंग्स इन स्नोफ्लेक राइट नाउ
Hmm,
एंड और स्नोफ्लेक में स्पेशली जब जेसन प्रोसेसिंग करते हैं तो उसमें
hmm,
वही यू हैव टू डू लॉट ऑफ रिकर्शन और स्पेशली फ्लैटन और लैटरल वो दोस आर सम ऑफ द कीवर्ड्स अभी आई एम ट्राइंग टू पुट माय हेड अराउंड ठीक है
hmm. Actually, recently, I mean, now, yesterday only I started. I'm creating a project for YouTube, my
हम्म
YouTube channel, where I'm building a data warehouse on Snowflake.
वेरी
So
नाइस
we'll be reading JSON and
हम्म
building a data warehouse and then create some reports on Power BI. So yesterday only I was playing with all this flatten and all those things. It's interesting actually. Very, very nice way to flatten JSON. Otherwise in Python it will take some time. There it is just with SQL queries you are flattening the data. Very cool.
I mean, and that's what Snowflake is pitching to its
Hmm.
customers. You know, SQL
Hmm.
equals everything, right? From
Hmm.
managing infrastructure as code, right? तो हम लोग
Hmm.
Terraform सुनते थे कि Terraform is the one
Hmm.
which we would use, and it has like bunch of scary code. Like I am not a programmer by practice,
Right.
more like
Right.
this. आपका भी more or less वैसा ही
The thing is very simple now. If you see from Snowflake point of view, you
हम्म,
just create a data log wherever you want, AWS, Azure, GCP, right?
हम्म,
Just create a data lake and put the data in a Snowflake. Do whatever you want to do with SQL. Now
exactly.
they have support for Python as well.
Very much.
I think 90% of the use will be SQL only. You can do almost everything with all analytics you can do with SQL.
No, very much. So I have been taking few programs for our customers, and one of the programs have been into Snowflake Advanced Data Engineer preparation. So preparing for that certification, and some of the topics are really like you have to put your head around to understand that how is this working. Although it is making very easy, especially like for me, if you ask, I want my data very quickly into some table so that I can start writing SQL over it.
Right, right.
I want to get over all that challenges यार कहाँ सीक्वल में पढ़ा है सीएस में पढ़ा है वो सब मत दो आई वांट टू
Hmm.
लोड इट इनटू अ टेबल उसके ऊपर आई शुड बी एबल टू राइट सीक्वल एंड देन आई एम कंफर्टेबल हाँ कुछ ना कुछ हो जाएगा
Right,
right
right, right.
Python would be like okay now I have to do some visualization I have to come out of this one and then use
Hmm.
Python or even plain Excel you can use to do some
Right,
visualization learn about the data. But yeah, the crux of it is that when you have the data and you have to crunch it and then you have to get some calculate metrics and then because all those metrics go to BI, maybe Power BI, or it will be
right,
consumed by some data science team. They said, okay, we want these metrics over time, so I want to create a time series forecasting model, right? So
right,
who will
right,
give them that metrics? The analysts will give them, the guys who are writing
right,
day in and day out,
right.
right?
Hmm.
And I think with ChatGPT coming in, that bar has is coming down. That
Wow.
आपको logically सोचना है. And
Right,
वही है
right.
मतलब if you can think logically, I think your bar is equal. जो bar आपने भी सेट किया है, या लॉजिकली
Mm.
अगर आप सोच सकते हो ब्रेक इट डाउन, हाउ आई ट्राई टू डू इज दैट आई यूज एक्सेल अ लॉट टू काइंड ऑफ ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड। कई बार मेरे को अगर लॉजिक क्लियर नहीं हो,
Problem. Mm.
so because in the end whatever you're doing by hand in Excel, you are transforming to English in SQL.
Right, exactly.
Or अगर
Exactly.
if I have a person, I have an intern, and that intern I
Mm.
tell that okay, as I say, these are the steps you need to do, get me the code, right?
Mm.
Versus if
You
I'm
will
giving
get that. Right.
ChatGPT and say give me that code, and if ChatGPT does that equally well, then people won't be needed,
Right. Right.
right?
But
Uh,
still, ChatGPT is not so good with SQL that I have experienced. It will make mistakes, unnecessarily
it's
long
a lot
query it
of
will create
mistakes,
sometimes.
lot
So
of
yeah,
things.
you have to be careful. You cannot use directly.
And I feel that that's actually good because
Hmm.
because in the you can, like, when you're learning, it's okay, it's a fun thing. You're maybe not be very careful about outcomes. You may say, okay, something outcome तो आ सकता है. Is it worth? Is it right? उसने
Hmm.
ज्वाइन करना था, लेफ्ट ज्वाइन मार दिया, लेफ्ट ज्वाइन था, ज्वाइन मार दिया, राइट? आप उसने ग्रुप
Right.
में कॉलम्स वो, इट इज हैलुसिनेटिंग, आई वाज ट्राइंग आउट, इट इज हैलुसिनेटिंग कि वो कॉलम नेम है ही नहीं, राइट? So I have to expose it to a data dictionary कि पहले ये data dictionary पढ़ो,
Hmm.
understand the meaning of each column because it's a language model, so it will read everything and create say its model, and then it started. It's I then thought अच्छा ऐसा ही तो मेरा एक intern करेगा या a junior would do it. First thing that person should ask for is data dictionary क्या है,
Right.
right? अच्छा मॉडल कहाँ है, ये टेबल का मॉडल दो so that I can understand relations between tables before writing down, right? So
Hmm.
some of these, and if you see at work, आपने भी Amazon में काम किया है, and you know that कि tables will not be two three tables, there will be so many different
Yeah.
tables, models,
Right.
साइज साइज से डील करना है, कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी से डील
Hmm.
करना है। वहां तो ऐसा नहीं है ना कि एक स्टैटिक डेटा है, या फिर आपने जैसे टॉय एग्जांपल्स यूज किया है, दैट इज अमेजिंग टू get the concepts, but when you actually
Hmm.
the floor, things are moving at a
Yeah,
different,
more complexities. Right.
right? So in those situations, then how do you handle? So it's a lot more engineering, but the basics remain the same. At the
Right.
end, uh, solving engineering problems, say performance tuning, it's a different thing. And Snowflake helps says that okay, performance tuning, I'll take care of. I'm giving you so many different capabilities.
Hmm.
You come here and ekdam free होकर के write SQL आराम से. So we are opening up for all business analysts. You go ahead and do it. And now they're bringing Cortex. You can talk to it and get your data out.
Hmm.
So, in a way, and of course, somebody has to take accountability, but the accessibility and that, what do you say, the first hurdle, right? That that hurdle was too high for many business analysts. There are SQL लिखना पड़ेगा. I mean, people still
Right.
fear for that, right?
Hmm.
I had a person who was in operations team in one of the agri-tech companies I was working in. That person was very logic oriented. Again, he used to do a lot of data crunching in Excel, and but then he started facing problem because data size started increasing. तो वो क्या करता था, वो एक लिंक पे जाके डाउनलोड करता था, there was a report used to come with thousands of records, और उसमें वो फिर pivot word मारता था पहले, right?
अच्छा.
So because he
Hmm.
was, at least he has a background where he had worked with Excel. And Excel a common minimum है जो many places it should be promoted or like do
Right.
it analysis, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Colleges में especially I strongly believe कि वो करना चाहिए, and so that
Hmm.
people get that logic building very early, right?
Right.
I think then it would definitely help जब आप SQL की बात करते हैं तो you always talk about that logic muscle कि उसको train करते रहो.
Right. Right.
So, Ankit, I mean, I just wanted to, just taking a side note, I wanted to understand that what made you to kind of, and what were the triggers for you to say start your YouTube channel, especially like there were many, and I have a high regard for Kud Venkat's channel. I mean,
Hmm.
sort of those days when like I was getting started, it was an amazing help the way he
Right.
created all the content and lot of videos. I mean, every aspect of it is covered. I also learned there was a video indexing which he created. I mean, that was also nice. So, what pulled you into this one, and what's the secret sauce behind this?
So, Good Venkat is brilliant channel actually if you want to learn concepts. Okay. But they don't have much SQL problems like the way nowadays they are asked in interviews,
True.
right? Different kind of CTs, row number, and window functions you have to use. And there are a lot of problems now. There are a lot of platforms, right? So interviews are getting tough. It is not just about knowing the concept, it is about solving the problem at that point during interview, right? And that was lacking. There was no channel on YouTube when I started which used to solve complex problems, real time problems that you will face in your job or interviews.
Hmm.
And that's what I thought I can do it because I have worked almost 12, 13 years on SQL. And I think I have solved all kind of problems that you will face in SQL. So I thought, why not share my knowledge? So I was thinking from a long time, but then it was a new year time around 2022. January I started actually. So new year you will have some little more energy. So I thought, okay, let's start. Let's put one video. I've
Hmm.
been thinking for so long. Let's put one video and see. And then I put that video and put it on LinkedIn as well that I have posted and it was a good response. And then it automatically then things happened. So yeah, that's how it started.
No, I mean it. I think it must be a source of huge inspiration for you and huge satisfaction for you. जो
Right.
आप ये कर रहे हैं, and it really it's. I feel first of all, data. The sector of data is a huge sector. It's growing 2x, 3x, 5x, and especially when you see companies which are working in the data sector, Fractal, Sigma. There are many companies who are doing really amazing. So the demand, and especially also you see the startup space, the GCCs, where the need for people who are good at logic, understand, get someone have some basic understanding of business, and then have the technical skills. Nobody is expecting you to be an expert at it, but it's all about that. How many problems have you seen and tried
Right.
out? That's the
Right.
only way. I mean, and it's like मैंने अंकित बंसल का वीडियो देखना शुरू किया, यहाँ तक अंकित ने बोला कि अभी रुको ट्राई करो, तो मैं जाके ट्राई करूँ एंड लेट मी ट्राई दिस
Hmm.
एंड many times I get out of touch because of my work and my company. But at the same time, whenever I get a chance, I don't leave a chance to say do something in SQL. Because
Right.
it helps, my thinking is kind of again. So I also started my 2000 in 2007. I started my career with Oracle.
Hmm.
And so SQL was the first thing what actually thrown at me. Okay, Oracle है और SQL है, मतलब Oracle SQL तो college में करते थे. And
Hmm.
so that was the place, and there was a SQL developer. There was a big clunky sort of a tool, but
Hmm.
it had a lot of features. Whatever features we see today,
Yeah, everyone has used it. I have also used it. SQL
yes.
developer. Yeah.
Yeah, but then after when I was working for the startup there, we were back to SQL Server. I mean that's something which is
Hmm.
very quick to start, and
Hmm.
somehow it has its SQL is very neat. I mean you can
UI is very good actually. SQL Server UI. Yeah.
very much, very much. So and everything is there. You can kind of all the kind of tools you need. You can even generate the diagram and you can understand it. Even in that way, I think I found dbeaver to be a good tool.
That is also good. Yeah.
Right? Table Plus I found to be a very neat and thin client. That
Very light kind of tool. Yeah.
correct, correct. So these are some of the good tools to kind of get started with, and I believe that anybody Table Plus, though, you have to just click within 5 minutes, it's ready to go. All you need is
Hmm.
your server credentials, and you can get started.
Right. Right. Right.
Right? So great, Ankit. So what I was thinking that since SQL is something which we want to focus on, I thought why not tie it around a business problem, which
Hmm.
I have seen at my projects. I've worked for retail customers in analytics. So I think that or and something which would come naturally to you also at Amazon. You must have seen this problem of market basket. Analysis, right?
Right.
That
Right.
very simple thing that I'm going to store, and this is my basket, which a physical basket which I fill in with lot of items. So when I was a youngster, maybe my basket would have maybe more daily use items, bread, egg, butter, and all. And now I am a dad, so maybe diapers will be more,
Hmm.
right? This will be more. So if you see
Hmm.
the composition of my basket is changing over time, and it
Hmm.
reflects a lot about my lifestyle also.
Right.
Somebody ordering a lot of veg item versus somebody ordering a lot of non-veg item, right?
Exactly.
It's
Right.
a source of rich information, which can, if you analyze it, you can give very quick insights with very low, what do you say, infrastructure headache. I mean, you don't need heavy duty some server or no Snowflake. You can start with Excel itself to kind of do some
Right.
basic calculations on small data, right?
Mm.
And then build some intuition. And the next natural jump is that get into the database, have some tables ready there, start looking at what are the questions and what are the metrics to be calculated, and then start thinking over it.
Right. Exactly.
So what I'll do is, Ankit, I try to develop on our Incurious platform. So this Incurious platform, we've been working on for past 4 years. A brief about us, like we started as mentor school before, so we have connected before, and now you see this Incurious behind me. So that was the sort of a rebranding we did, where we moved from a mentor school to an Incurious, because this is a platform we were building for 4 years, sort of a learning experience platform. And the idea has always been that when people come on the floor and when they are facing a lot of challenges, one, there is a problem you're solving in a big way, right? Like people, when they're coming in, they really need to have that head start. Otherwise, it's very difficult for companies to give
Right.
that first jump,
Mm.
right?
Right. Right.
Unless your engine starts moving, and then all I need to do is throw problems at you, more and more problems at you, and you have been building so many problems on your YouTube channel, right?
Right. Right.
It's just machine, right? Machines are learning these days. All what they're doing
Mm.
is you're throwing data at it and it is learning continuously.
Right.
If they are
Exactly.
learning, then we have to be better than them, right? Or take a role which is that if machine is coding, I don't think we should take it as a threat. We should take it as an opportunity and say that, okay,
Mm.
whatever machine, as you said, ChatGPT can go wrong. Of course, it will go wrong, but it will take away the headache of thinking about those basic structures.
Right. Right.
And if you
You
are
will get your 50% of the job done. Rest 50 you do.
Exactly. And then basically all you're doing is that you have got a 2 years experience data analyst who knows SQL, who's trained on entire GitHub. He's the most trained analyst there,
Mm.
right? But it doesn't have that intuition. And how do you build that
Right.
intuition? I mean, that's where humans come into picture, right?
Right.
And that's why
Right.
your rich experience is coming into in the form of all these problems which are helping so many people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and similarly, when they come on the floor, so now the challenges increase. I work with a lot of companies, their L&D teams, and the primary challenge is that many a times, especially with non-CS department, if people are coming in from, so they have the CS people have some head start because they have been more in front of the sequel they have done.
Mm.
Everybody has
Mm.
stuff, but mostly people at
Mm.
that time, what they'll be doing, movies or games, right?
Right.
At most Python, maybe they'll be doing some Python. And my general observation is that Python, they have the best, most brushed up.
Mm.
SQL
Mm.
somewhere there, Excel almost not so good. Maybe
In
because
SQL, in SQL, they don't know what they don't know.
they actually, yeah, exactly. They don't even know what they don't know. That's true. That's a good statement. Yeah. So, so that's the thing. So here again we have to. So I continuously, me and my team, we work on a lot of industry problems. We're working on problems on say shelf optimization, inventory optimization. We consult with companies and they kind of work on these kind of problems. Say in retail segment or in say insurance, there will be some problems. There will be healthcare. There will be some problems. So we try to create a lot of such scenarios and we are putting on the portal. And we have recently launched Incurious Academy. So the idea has been again to kind of build these kind of scenarios and see offer it to people and then let them experiment on it, try it, and like see that if they can also gain that say whatever time they saved right from
Mm.
coding headache, right? That they can actually invest in knowing the problem more.
Right.
Idea that if you're trying
Mm.
to know the problem more, your employers benefit from that, the company benefits from that, right? So
Mm.
if you know SQL but you don't understand how retail say shelf refilling works, right, or POS works, right, or what does it take to kind of arrange these items on the shelf, is there a science behind that, right?
Mm.
So
Right. Right.
say when say bread and butter is kept next to it, is there a science behind it, or is it like fun? You will say, "Ha, it comes naturally." People purchase bread and butter together. Always, I have done that, right?
Mm.
So some of these correlations between two product items is coming naturally, right?
Mm. But some of those we don't know. We have to get data and find it, right? Like
That's
beer,
the
beer and
investigation.
diaper. No one would have thought it, right?
Exactly, and that's the investigative mindset. I think a SQL person should have.
Right.
right?
Right.
Let me
Mm.
investigate. And you kind of join tables, you kind of aggregate them, calculate some metrics, ratios, some date calculations. So many
Right.
capabilities SQL provides.
Right.
As you have told before, there are only few constructs. Use those few.
Exactly. There are 10 or 12 constructs. You have to just play with that. And
Ex-
if you see, we have so many technologies coming in, but SQL is everywhere, be it cloud, AWS, we have Redshift, Athena, right? Then Snowflake is fully SQL.
Fully
You are
SQL.
going Databricks, you can write Spark SQL, any platform. There is some SQL flavor is there to do your analytics, right? So if
People
you know
even
SQL, 70% of the work is done.
done exactly SQL and because it's like a language. So I every if English has become a business language, right? Every
Hmm.
company is forced to put a website in English, right?
Right,
SQL
right,
is the de facto querying language. So every
right.
company have to build. So you may be doing a lot of heavy duty Spark inside, but you have to give a layer of SQL, just like what Hive did, right?
Right.
So instead of
Right.
doing the scary Java coding of MapReduce, I would have never have been able to do that.
Thinking about it also make me scared. Writing a map reduce in Java. No, no
Not
way.
possible. No way. I tried once
I
and
will leave my job.
exactly. So they had to give Hive. So I had to start writing SQL, and I think it goes back to those days, right? When everybody thought that SQL will be gone, there would be people thought that NoSQL will replace. NoSQL is a database, right? It's not like okay, no, you don't have to write SQL.
You cannot do analytics. It is for application data. You can keep it, but analytics you cannot do.
Exactly, exactly. Great, Ankit. So let me share the problem. I'll share my screen, and then let's just read through it. Okay, and try to just take a stock of what's happening. Okay. All right.
In market basket also, there are two kinds of things. Like one we are discussing, like
Hmm.
someone is buying butter along with bread,
Hmm.
right? We are doing pairing kind of thing. What people will buy together. There is another market basket which is sequential. For example, if
Hmm.
you buy a laptop today, maybe within a 7 days or few days, immediately you will buy a antivirus as well, right?
Ah,
Or maybe you are buying a mobile, then you will buy a mobile cover. So this is a sequential market basket. That
interesting.
is also there, right?
Interesting. Interesting.
I actually recently created a problem on Namaste SQL based on that.
Oh, very
So it
nice.
was there in my mind. It is on laptop and laptop bag. So we have to find customers who have percentage of customers who bought laptop and immediately next laptop bag.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So this is what like currently the portal looks like, and like there have been tons of scenarios and content which
Okay.
are kept, and we have also created a platform called Incubator. So it is somebody for a creator like you, right? You want, and here we are trying to build a lot of interface through which people can actually live a learning journey. They could do a lot of experiments. They could log their journey, put up their code, answer bunch of questions, write some observation, take a snapshot, upload their work. So a lot of ways they can actually log their learning,
Hmm.
and there are a lot of points to collect. So across different skills, if they have completed that skill, they collect some points. So for example, I'll just give a very quick view of one of them. So this is something which we were building for Excel, for helping people gain some practice something in Excel. So we built it for airline. And in this one, if you go to the content, it's a simple story where you have some data set, start analyzing and start answering, right? So you get some outcome, answer that, and there are a bunch of skills which it is testing. And then I've asked you another report. So if you see there are a bunch of problems here, and there I can ask you to say put a snapshot, and there are hint mechanisms. The solutions will be visible to you. There will be guides, notes which will help you to kind of not straight away get to the solution, but kind of work through the solution. And you can use the hint and hints with hints. There are some extra points are also there if you avoid hints, right?
Okay.
And try it, and there is reward for trying things, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I'm just trying to solve the problem of there is why so much of dropout. Even if say there is so much of good content, there is a lot of people they kind of drop out because of several challenges, right?
Mm.
Although there are success stories, and we really celebrate those stories, but there is a significant chunk which are kind of lost through the way.
Right,
So
right.
could we kind of make a place, a system where they could be engaged in a way where that we could provide support. So we are building, we have also built an analytical engine on top of it, where we get to know if somebody is stuck and somebody is facing problem, and help can reach this person.
Okay, great. Yeah.
So this is something which we built, and similarly on this one, so that market basket which I was thinking about. So I just sketched out something, okay, and again it is done in a much hurry, and I really wanted to have this connect and not waste your time. So that, like, let's build it something and let's discuss through this problem, and
Yeah.
let's see how it goes.